ding, or the ding is said for me. And good morning, it is, or this morning here, wherever I am. It's raining. That's what I know. I didn't sleep very well, so excuse me if I wander off. It's Sam and Thomas and Jason and Sam Pretty, and we are here in the EuroAsia Scrum, for want of a better word. Let me go on to screen share, which is another button over here, and then a couple of buttons over here. And let us, I believe Sam Pretty was the first person in. Shall we check in with Sam Pretty? How are things with you, Sam Pretty?
So I've been working on the second part of the GitHub commit count story where I fetch like the total commit count for a particular project, and I've been facing some weird errors. So like when you go to a project's main page, like a repo's main page, you see like a total commit count. Like for website 1, it is about 2,700.
Yeah. So if I go here to one, this is on the product. Are we talking about on the production system at the moment?
No, on GitHub. If you go to GitHub,
if we just go to yes. If I go to GitHub and we look at Agile Ventures and we look.
You can actually click on that connected on website.
Right. Yeah, I could have done. I thank you. There we go. Yes, right.
So you see, like we have 2738 commits.
Oh yes.
Now the weird thing is, if you click on the contributors link, like the 28 contributors, and you'll see like the contributions for each individual user. If you add up all that, it comes to only 1,971 commits. So about 800 or 900 commits are missing somewhere, which is pretty weird. So I was facing some issues with that, and it seems like I'll probably have to just use that main page commit count rather than using this. But I'll need to figure out why this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that there may be a good reason for it that GitHub will have, or that may just be an oversight. In some ways, it would be good to figure out at the same time, for the purpose of displaying, what's going on. I don't know if you can find fix a bug for GitHub. That's kudos to you, and I'm sure the GitHub people will be pleased to hear about it. But yeah. Okay, so is the does that mean that the Slack inviting thing, that's all done and dusted? You demoed it yesterday, didn't you? It's all good, huh?
Yeah, there's a pull request.
It's in a pull request queue, waiting for
Great,
to be reviewed.
fantastic. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So are you? Obviously, that's sort of a bit of a conundrum, but you're not technically blocked on anything other than trying to work out why GitHub is weird.
No, I can just use the main page commit counter, which I'll do. But as the side job, I would like to figure out why that's.
Sure. Yeah, certainly an interesting question to be answered. And are you available for pairing?
Not now. After the Euro Scrum.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Let's go. We'll go to Thomas just so Jason can. I mean, Jason's first Scrum. We love to have new people. But yeah, rather than putting Jason immediately on the spot, we'll just go to Thomas so that Jason can get 2 or even 3 examples. We'll see. Thomas, how are things with you?
Oh, thank you. Just fine. I just woke up after a rather, tough night as a parent of a small child.
Right. I hear you.
So I'm a little bit dizzy in my head. But yesterday evening I carried out the website one developer team meeting.
Yes.
And yes, there was some misunderstanding as whether I should carry out the Scrum or not. I guess I can do that later on next week. But these are 2 separate meetings, and I'll start a separate hangout for the dev meeting. So, but I'll talk to Pavel about that.
Yeah.
We had good participation. We were 6 or 7 people, I believe, and we talked a lot about the project landing page redesign. Well, project index page redesign.
Oh yes.
We broke up a few stories out of that, and we voted on most of them. So we can start that. And this is also why Sam Pretty is looking at this GitHub commit count because this is one of the side stories to that.
Right. So that's the redesign of this page, isn't it?
Yes.
And
we have a lo-fi. I don't know if you want to pull that up but it's perhaps not necessary right now.
And unless Jason tells us he's interested, but yeah, you and I have seen it before, so yeah.
Yeah. So I'm doing a code review of this web mailer interface. Together with Sam Pretty, we're making some comments for René. And I'll be reviewing together with Brian later today, at least, some pretty pull requests and merge that in, and so we can push that up to production. And you and I and Brian need to get together and talk about the events thing.
Yes. Okay.
Because we're not quite on the same page here, me and Brian perhaps, and we need to get your input on that.
Okay.
You being the client, so I know that we have no client meeting scheduled for this week, but we would like to have some sort of, if you're working late this week, we need like 15 minutes or 20 minutes,
Yes.
Well, at night time, because Brian is only
and potentially after today's planning meeting, when the EuroAsia Scrum starts up, you guys might be able to catch me.
Okay. Let's hope he's available today.
Yes, we'll see.
That would be good.
Okay.
Other than that, I have some other projects that I need to work on. I spoke to Jonathan on up to course or.
Oh yeah. The paid tutoring for the MOOC.
Yes, I spoke to him last night, just before the dev meeting, and it was very interesting. So we're going ahead with that. I'm gonna send him my profile.
Great.
So we can set up a mentor page for me under their domain, on their site.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We're moving forward.
Excellent.
I will be available to pair a little bit after the Euro Scrum.
Okay.
But other than that, I have some other project work that I need to work on today.
Sure.
I was also reviewing the students' results on the AV102 course, and there's a lot of people that haven't submitted a single homework. So I'm disappointed.
Yes. I think it is the nature of MOOCs or even mini MOOCs. That, a lot of people. I mean, I think that would be. We would be less disappointed if it wasn't the nature of MOOCs. That just even in order to see the details of the content, you need to sign up. So I think a lot of people have signed up to see what it is, and Yes. And I share your disappointment because I think that there's so much that they could gain.
Exactly.
If only they knew. If only they joined us in Scrum. Well, yes, maybe we need to have the Scrum being like a compulsory thing from week 1. Anyway, great. But thank you, Thomas. I guess we'll do me. I'm continuing to review local support pull requests. Our velocity is actually up to 7 at the moment. So that's kind of it's Marion and Paul and Michael are zapping through the different features there. I should have a client meeting tomorrow, waiting to get that confirmed. I've got the autograders and the Spock instructors client meeting late this afternoon. I've got lots of preparation work to do for them. We've also got the Agile Ventures planning meeting to go on after the Americas Scrum this evening. I'm working late. Although last night I pushed out the AVE 102 week 3, which seems to be okay. One person caught me on the date thing, which I fixed. But yes, again, Thomas, if you've got any time to either yourself push out an update or corral Marion or Bill or Paul or anybody else Pavel to do an update, that would be very helpful today, since I'm not sure I'll have the bandwidth for it. I'll try.
I'll talk to them. Otherwise, if I don't get a response, I can record something.
Yeah, excellent.
I'm just gonna take a shower first.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Don't let me come between you and your hygiene. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, a good hygiene is an important thing. If you want to show yourself for people.
Indeed, cleanliness next to godliness. I hear.
Exactly. Amen to that.
Yes. So I think that's it. There's probably. I was quite pleased to get the Gitter chat working in just as experimentally in the AV102. Not that I'm saying we should all immediately rush over to Gitter, but just I feel like we need a better solution than the IRC chat for the MOOC.
I hear you, brother, but I was like, no, not yet another, yet another chat.
Well, indeed.
I was so scared when I saw this. really, I was thinking like experimenting is good, it's great, but I think that this is a live course, so I was like, why here?
I guess that's a reflection of maybe it would have been better to experiment somewhere else, but I think I also want people in the course to know that we're kind of like we're on the edge, man. That we're kind of we're trying. I mean, I think there's I feel bad that I haven't been able to devote more time to updating the course materials. So anyway, there we go. It's we can always remove that from there. It's nice to see that it works. I'd like to keep exploring.
I saw that there were some messages back from January 2014 that because we signed up for Gitter, you, me, and Sapri, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's also good to know that their storage is working.
Yes, indeed. That'll be the key thing to find, because I think the big problem we have with Slack at the moment is we're losing a lot of history, and that will really not do for the MOOC, and we can't afford to pay them for it. So yeah, we'll see.
But are we going to keep the Stack Overflow Corporation? I mean,
the Stack Exchange. Well, the thing was, I'm sort of feeling like I don't want to deal with that. It has proved to be somewhat useful since the MOOC ended, in that Nick and others have posted things on there. I think it's been quite useful to have it, and I think it will sort of exist anyway. So I think what I'm tempted to do in the next run is have the new version of the edX forums running, but just also link to and say, look, we also have this Stack Exchange thing from the last course, and let people choose where they want to chat, really. I mean, I think that the Stack Exchange one is quite good for certain sorts of discussions on problem fixing, but it's really annoying that it doesn't allow for open-ended discussions, and that's... Anyway, I mean, there is a danger, of course, of like splitting people across multiple things, but anyway.
Yeah, because the last thing we want is a student asking a question in whatever forum, and not getting an answer, or not being seen, because if there are two chat solutions and two forum solutions, that's an awful lot.
I agree, but I think in some ways we're not actually in a position to remove the Stack Exchange thing. I think people are going to find it in their Google searches anyway. So it's sort of like,
Well, I think that the Stack Exchange is a good solution. I would actually, if there was a choice, I would say that this.
You'd prefer to stick with it and not. No, okay.
And not use anything else, basically.
Yeah.
I think we need a quick chat solution. That's okay. But then if we have Stack Exchange, I don't think that history on Slack would be an issue, because we don't need we don't need to discuss very important matters in Slack.
That's true. Maybe that's a feature of. But Sanpriti, you were saying that you quite like the Stack Exchange for the MOOC.
Yeah. I think that it's much better than the edX forum, and I mean. The way of discussion is much easier in the Stack Exchange forum rather than the edX forum. I personally think that. And relating to this chat issue, I think Stack Exchange chat could be used because it's a great solution, but the problem is with embedding.
Yeah.
But like last year, I had experimented with IRC bridge between the Stack Exchange chat and the IRC chat. But then that wouldn't be too stable, I guess.
Yeah. I think we have a problem maintaining that. Anyway, we're running out of time. I know that Jason will want to be voting on a story. Let's just check in with Jason. Jason, have you signed up for Agile Ventures? Will I find you somewhere in the members list?
Yes.
I will. And so are you actually in Australia at the moment?
Me? No, I'm in California.
So maybe I found the wrong Jason. But so I don't know if you have you can see the screen I'm sharing here. I'm looking for, maybe you have a different username within our site.
That's a different me.
Yeah.
Let me make sure.
Just pop to agileventures.org and log in with your GitHub account, and that'll get you sorted. In the background, Thomas, I don't know if you. I mean, we're sort of website one heavy today. Do we try and find a website one story?
Yes, absolutely, because we actually forgot to vote on a story last night that is important for me, and that's the Twitter API story.
Okay, yeah, let's have a look at that. Fantastic.
Good show. I'm very glad right now, because it was a headache for me.
Indeed. Anyhow, so Jason, so not critical.
I've signed in.
Oh, okay.
And your username is?
It appears to be Jason. So I use Jason. My GitHub is Jason Robinson.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess this page hasn't. If you just signed it, I didn't refresh the page. That would be my bad. But
it doesn't really matter.
Is this doing an Ajax call, or is it? No. See now.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
There we are. So yes. So Jason, and you're in Portland, Oregon. Is that right?
Oh wow! I get. So I lived in Portland for a while. I live in California right now, in the SF Bay Area.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Good stuff. Oh, well, that's the place to be, definitely. Yeah. Yes. Well, thanks for, I guess, staying up late for the EuroAsia Scrum. We're trying. We do have this slot, as you might have seen, like for the one, which would be like I think 6 p.m. your time or something. We need to try and find a West Coast-based person to sort of do scrums for us. But anyway, another story. Let's get on with the thing. So, Thomas, do you just want to talk us through this? I guess I'll just mention. So, for Jason, unless it wasn't clear, so Website 1 is our project that actually supports the entire Agile Ventures site. And Thomas is the project manager on that, and Samprit is a big-time contributor to that. I'm kind of normally the client. I kind of try and stay out of any technical matters relating to it to pretend to be a non-technical client, which is a sort of an important part of the idea here at Agile Ventures. But so yeah, Thomas, do you want to just give us an overview of what we mean by this auto pair pushing to Twitter?
Yes. Well, we have this idea that every time we create a Hangout or a Scrum event like this one we are attending right now, we want information about that event being pushed out to Twitter, because that would increase our exposure and potentially lead to new people seeing what we're up to, and then visiting the scrums and potentially joining Agile Ventures, and the world will be a better place, basically.
I hope so. Yes.
So we are doing a similar thing with Slack, something that Samprit already integrated for us.
Yes.
That we have this after event. After creating a Hangout, there is this Slack notification being pushed out to Slack. We want to do a similar thing using the Twitter API.
Exactly.
So this is basically it. It's just an after action,
Yes.
And the challenges here is that we need to create a new dependency for the application. With this Twitter API gem. Somebody has to get under the skin of that gem and know how to implement this. There is not much of a front end, so
no.
There isn't much to show for users of the application, but everything is going to go down under the hood, basically.
Yes.
So the challenge potentially is some tests. How do you test whether these posts are actually being made?
I mean, there's stubbing. Like, I mean, I'm just doing stuff with GitHub.
But this is kind of a straightforward story.
In particular, Jason, do you have any questions about what aspects of this story or things it might involve?
Offhand, I don't. From a.
And that's fine. There's no requirement to have questions, but just go on.
Yeah, I mean, from Thomas's description, it sounds very clear. I mean, essentially, I feel your pain on the whole Slack thing with the 10,000 message limit. We recently signed up, so it would be nice to have something that does push these kind of events out to everybody uses Twitter, so makes sense.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, let's just do it. So the voting thing, if you haven't seen it before, we basically choose a number 1, 2, or 3, where 1 represents a relatively trivial operation, 2 is an intermediate, and 3 is a complex one. And what we'll all do is we'll type in 1, 2, or 3 into the group chat, and then I will say we won't press return. I'll say 3, 2, 1, go, and then when I say go, we'll all press return together to kind of like do kind of like a simultaneous vote. And I guess as a rule of thumb, generally for things that are just purely an interface tweak, then that would often be the kind of thing that gets a 1. If it's touching the database somewhere, then often that's going to be a 2. Anyway, part of the process of doing this is not that we have to perfectly estimate these features. It's just so that we kind of get into a sense of understanding each other's assumptions. So if everybody's ready to vote, I'll say please choose your vote, and I'll say 3, 2, 1, go, and I'll hit return. And that's what I like to see. Unanimity. I can't say it, but I like to see it when it's there. There we go. Well, that was the EuroAsia Scrum. Jason, thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to seeing you in future Scrums and possibly in pairing sessions as well. I didn't ask you actually, Jason. Are you free for pairing now? Are you probably a bit late where you are?
Oh, it's midnight, so yeah. I'll probably come into another one.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Yes, and it sounds like Samprit and Thomas won't be available until a bit later. But yes, hopefully we can open more scrums in your time zone subsequently for finding you pairing partners. So we do have a few. We do have a couple other people. It's like Amy is on the West Coast and Paul is close to the West Coast. So yeah, we'll get you hooked up. So next week's assignment is going to involve pair programming on features such as this.
Great. I do have one question on the assignment. If
yes, go ahead.
1 minute. So the first question is request membership. So I click the link. I go to the tracker. Did that actually request membership for me?
Quite possibly. I will check that by clicking over somewhere here and seeing my list of all projects. I think CS169. I'll go on, show all the projects. Yeah, let's see. And so for 2014, there we go. That is here.
Okay.
And so if I look at here, I mean, I haven't really kind of like reviewed my email properly, but let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing there. I mean, if you just, the simplest thing is if you just gave me your email here, if you paste your email into the group chat, I can do an ad there on the idea that there may be like already an email somewhere sitting somewhere in my inbox with that, but just to make sure that you get in there, let's do that, and you're in.
Great.
And Jason, you've been doing quite well on the home assignments, I see.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good man.
Fun.
Yeah.
Great stuff. All right, well, I better dash off. Unless we've got any other thing critical business, we'll stop the broadcast there. I look forward to seeing some of you in the later Atlantic Scrum and the planning meeting and other things later this evening. Otherwise, happy trails, guys. See you soon.
Talk
All
to
right,
you
take
later.
care.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.